Welcome to the 147th broadcast of the T-Row Show. It's your host, Keith. I got John with me.
Good morning, folks.
Alrighty. What we got to do here today is we're going to show you some little bit of a history because we've got a bunch of people that seem to not understand some certain things, okay? And then they start attacking us. And they don't realize they think one thing and the truth is something else. So let's get into this. We're going to start off with this. First of all, we are not under the Constitution of the United States of 1789 in any way, shape, or form. The government of the United States of America, uppercase T, is not under the Constitution of the United States in any way, shape, or form. We're under the Articles of Confederation of 1781 that was finalized in 1781 when it was ratified by all the states. Every one of the states ratified it. All the people back then, they had social compacts. Everybody understood and knew about social compacts. And we're going to show you where all the upper and lowercase states are today in accordance with a social compact that was written way back when. And you're going to see that. And it was right there in plain sight. We said about a month ago that we were going to show you where the social compact is. Well, that's going to be today. You're going to see all that. Then you're going to see our history and what we did, what this is all about, and hopefully a lot of these silly ass rumors are going to quit and we can get moving with what we need to do. Okay? Now, I'm just going to show you some of the originals, okay? This is on page 14 of a land patent that I did a long while ago. The family name was Leavenois, okay? And that's why that's that right there. It's living way today, but it started out as Leavenois. We were from that town over in France. That's why we were called that. Okay, and I just happened to do a land patent. That's all it was. This is how this all started. And what I did was I actually did it right, and that's where the problem was with a lot of people because I did it right. It does not go along with, and this was back when the New World Order was at the height of its power. Okay, all the Democrats were at the height of their power. Now they're just losing power like crazy. But back then it was pretty serious. We were a serious, if not dictatorship, back in 2010, 9, 11, 12. It was really bad back then. Worse than it is today. You would think that it's not. How could it be worse? But it was. Everything was hidden. All secrets were still there. They could actually hold all the secrets, and nothing would be exposed. So within this land patent, I actually did the inward boundaries and then the outward boundaries of the property that I owned, and I was owned by a trust. And then I did the judicial district or the county, then the judicial districts, and then the state, and then the country, then the seaward boundaries. You see, whenever you have an organization or somebody trying to tell you that, oh, we were born on the land, so we have land jurisdiction, and they were on the sea, and so they have sea jurisdiction, and you separate that, that's illegal. It's illegal to do that, especially in surveys, because what you did was you just landlocked your country. When you're trying to cut the seaward boundaries away from the land, that's illegal. It's unlawful. It's against the law of nations. A country has to have seaward boundaries. Okay, so it has to go, ours is 12 miles past the baseline. Now, the baseline is where the shore breaks. Okay? So when all you guys are starting to put in stuff in your paperwork that says, oh, it doesn't go past the baseline or past the shore break and all this other, and you separate yourself, your whole document's illegal. I've seen people do that, by the way, and I've seen people lead others into doing it and try to assign separated uh, um, uh, admiralty from the land. And when you do that, it's illegal. You just state list everybody. Are you trying to? And luckily, we've got that taken care of, and we've already got all that covered. So it can't be done no matter how many stupid declarations go out there. We've already got it done correctly. So that stands above all the other stupid crap that people put out there. So right here within this, it was this is actually available on the National Great Registry under the General Post Office. Anybody could download this if they want. The United States of America was founded in the year 1776 along with the East Coast North America, wedged between British Canada and Spanish Mexico, and it goes on. Okay, and you can see all of it, and then it goes into all of these things where it says the United States of America. The one Supreme Court settles the boundary disputes between states. Blah blah blah. Okay, so this is the whole thing right here. It goes on and on. And I got it under the land patent assignment, which was 8929. Okay, and this is at 12:33 p.m. 1995, March 3rd, 12:33 p.m. Okay, and then I had it witnessed. It was witnessed by two people. Now, within the boundaries of the Second Judicial District of Tens, within the boundaries of the Kentucky County at large, brought forward to Shelby County at large, and within the boundaries in Virginia Republic, carried forward within the boundaries of the Kentucky Republic. So what I did was I went back and found all the original surveys, and then just brought them forward to the present time as to what was going on today. And nobody had done that. When I was doing it, even the Kentucky governor at the time said he just within a week they figured out what I was doing. And after it was published, they figured out. They go, "Oh crap! Everybody needs to get their land patents straightened out because nothing was brought forward to the present time. None of the metes and bounds were set right. People were going by big rocks and oak trees. Okay, and the whole Tennessee Kentucky border was set by white rocks, and people didn't want to be in Kentucky, so they would move the rocks, and those that didn't want to be in Tennessee would move the rocks back, and it went on like that for a couple of decades, back and forth. There was a lot of fighting back in those days. Virginia and all that. Virginia had a war. Everybody was fighting over this, that, and the other thing. That's why it went from Virginia to West Virginia. And this is after they were spreading west. So inner fighting is normal with this country. People fight over stupid crap all the time. Okay, and they always have. I guess it's just in their blood. So one of the criteria for claiming a country or reclaiming a country or setting a country up is the very first thing you have to do is claim the metes and bounds and the seaward boundaries. You can't assign seaward boundaries to another entity and say, "Oh, though they're admiralty and we're special and we're on land jurisdiction and we have all the power." Okay, that's not how that works. That's fifth grader shit. Fifth grade crap. Okay, you're special, more special than this one is. Okay, that's how they get you. It's someone talking to you like you're in grade school. You can't do that, folks. You have to have the seaward boundaries in there. You have to have your own admiralty. So the government of the United States of America has its own land jurisdiction, and I'll show you what that is in a few, and then the seaward boundaries. It's completed. So then we moved forward after a couple of years, about a year and a half, and dealing with the Israel nation and being attacked by the Democratic Party, and they tried to destroy and kill me twice or three times. They tried to murder me three times, or were going to. They were looking for a hell of an excuse. All I had to do was just one act of aggression, and man, they wanted to put a bullet in me in a heartbeat. Okay? Why? Because they're evil. That's why. Evil Satanist people. So we eventually got to the original goal, which was to the United States of America. And that was this one here. And here's my name, Keith Edward. Here's John Harold. There's John. Everybody was there. And this was the Articles of Confederation as amended. Now, that was the seal because remember, and John should know this. Do you see this, John? Did everything switch?
Yes, the switch fine.
Okay. Well, let me know if it doesn't. All right.
No,
The Articles of Confederation never had a great seal. They didn't because the states didn't want to offer a great seal to the Articles of Confederation or a national seal. They wanted to keep each state independent and have their own national seals. They didn't want a strong central government over them. So this whole story that it was the seal that they have in the Illuminati and all that crap, that's all okay. That was never the seal. During this time, okay, at around, when we were doing this, just was about 4 months after this, okay, I was contacted by somebody that apparently was a agent for the tripartite, but they didn't really appreciate what the tripartite was doing, and they were trying to get the states back to their original charters. At least that's what I was told. So I ended up claiming the original General Post Office of 1775, right here, and that was under Benjamin Franklin, and then his brother, and then Ebenezer Hazard, and was not carried on into the 1789. Okay, now people will say, well, what makes you guys have a right to go and take those and everything else? Nobody objected. We asked everybody for 6 months. Does anybody want does anybody object? Nobody objected. So we said, okay, we're going to take it, and we did, because we knew this entity over here calling itself the United States was a corporation. We knew that, so we wanted to reset and reestablish the country. And they didn't let us have a nationality. There was all kinds of things that we did during that time. Now, this was done in 2012. And I'm pretty sure that those that are claiming that they're fiduciaries for the United States of America have never done any of this. So I wouldn't believe that malarkey and that fraud, okay, because that is a fraud. So we set it up, and in the footer, you'll notice that we did this. The United States of America started out as the 13 United States of America, that was lowercase u, then amended to the United States of America, right here. And that was lowercase u, lowercase t. And then it was turned into the United States of America under the Articles of Confederation. And the states had ratified it at that time. And it was up and running for 8 years, being sabotaged like crazy, just like today. The same type of evil-ass people from the Catholic Church and everything else, and his agents are still trying to sabotage this. It happens almost all the time. And they still lie, and they still try to deceive people and make them believe and all this other kind of crap. But really what it comes down to is they want you under their 1789. That's what they're trying to get done. Because it serves their pope. And like we said, a lot of people have died and come back, and nobody's ever seen a vicar of Christ there. Okay, he's never showed up. They never reported that he was there. They went directly to Jesus. They all reported that, but no one ever said that they were met by a vicar. Which means if it's not in heaven, it's not on earth. His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. If his will is not to have a vicar in heaven, then it's not on earth. So it's therefore a fraud. There is no such thing as a vicar of Christ on earth. Okay? Now, as we began to learn more and more we kept amending the Articles of Confederation to make it better than it was before. So here was another one in 2013, May 20th. About every year we got better and better at it. Because the original one was so horribly written that we started out one step at a time and then went forward again and again and again. And then we ended up with this one, which was We the American Nationals. Now, when we started using the word American Nationals for the government of the United States of America, we started using that word with an uppercase N, because in the United States they have what they call an American National, but it's a lowercase, it's a non-capital N. So we just said, we'll just capitalize the N. Everybody in the country started using the capitalized N. It was unbelievable. Oh, well, I'm an American National. And everyone, remember that, John? It was all over the place.
Yep.
And
how do you actually become an American national?
Exactly. They were just arbitrarily claiming it.
Yeah.
They just come out, oh, I'm an American National. And then they would say, well, this is my paperwork and my paperwork's right. And then another guy would come along, oh, no, this is my paperwork. And they've been arguing over that paperwork for what, 7, 8 years now?
Yep.
They've been arguing over it. And then now it's come down to a baby deed. I think one of started laughing. I said, man, there's got to be some people that are stoned, sitting in a room and making shit up and laughing their butts off. Come up with a baby deed. Really? Seriously? That's going to do something. Okay, that's going to do some legal things. So you're going to go into court and say, oh, Your Honor, I object. I got a baby deed. Imagine what that looks like. It's like, you got a what? A baby deed. And they're going to go, I think you got something. You need a lawyer, man. And I would say, yeah, I think I agree with you, Judge, because that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. A baby deed. Seriously? So this was the last one we did because we couldn't get people for almost 5 or 6 years to take oaths to their states, and we couldn't get people to settle them. We couldn't get anything done, so we kept them in trust. Okay? And I think that one's over here. No, that's the actually certified copy of the Articles of Confederation. Let me go ahead and close that. That was from the archives. That's a certified copy. Okay. Right there. And hold on 1 second. Okay, this was the state's meets and bounds. When we had done this, all interested persons convene a meeting for the assembly. This is when we had citizens of the United States of America. I think we just went to nationals and residents and then general postmasters after this. This was a long time ago. This was in 2014. Yeah, this was before we did that. And what we did was we transferred the for states meets and bounds. We transferred the states meets and bounds back to the states, and nobody was there, so we just kind of sat in trust for a while. That's what happened. And this is when the assembly had done this. This was all done within a private meeting. We didn't need to make this public at all because we didn't want the bankers to actually know what we were doing. See, we were not trying to hide it from the people. We were hiding it from the bankers. They were trying to come after us for what we were doing. As far as the meets and bounds were concerned, actually, Sam was on the road for about, and that's not the Sam in New York, not Sam Kennedy, for about 2.5 years because he had the other claim. But at any rate, this was our seal back then. This was the Great Seal. And this is when it was a Confederacy. We ended up turning it into a national government later on, but the Great Seal for the United States of America, Confederacy, 1781. People today within the country were getting confused and thought we were bringing up the Confederacy or the states, the Southern states Confederacy. They didn't know that there was a Confederacy in 1781. So we had to. It was trying to tell us something there that we turned it into a national government, and there's all kinds of uh, claims there. And then we also brought it into a completely different seal, which was redesigned, and we brought all the claims under this seal and the original seal, which was in black and white in 2012. This one here. Every time we amended this, we already brought all of the claims under the other seal into the new seal, so we would have chain of title to what we were doing. And that's why you see that big purple one. It's really cool. I like that. We even did during this time a new Declaration of Independence of 1776 as amended 12/3/2012. Now, the Catholic Church didn't like this because we said, "We, the people for the United States of America, 1781, a confederacy form of government, brought forward to the present time, hereby declare independence from the Council of Nicaea, held in 325 AD, all its creeds, decisions, decrees, bills, debt creation, control, and deception through Serapis Christus." Okay, this was a tyrannical son of a bitch back in the day, and he was this kind of guy that said, if you don't recognize me as a living God on earth, I'm gonna freaking murder you. Okay, so that was a completely separate guy from the real Jesus. Okay, and all its agency and intermediary services between the people and the Most High, one true source, their Maker. All right, this was to get this whole Vicar of Christ crap out of the way. Don't sit there and act like you're going to be some kind of mediator to the mediator. All right, that's not going to work. It says, "We, the people for the United States, hereby declare the United States of America hereby declare independence from any and all councils convened," and it goes on and on. Okay, now there's no articles of incorporation here, folks. We never incorporated the United States of America. Show us the articles of incorporation on any claims like that, and then we'll reconsider that claim. But otherwise, that claim is just completely false and BS. A bold-faced lie. There never was the United States of America as a corporation back then. This was the original one. And really what it comes down to, and all that, the reason why all these lies are coming there is because what we did, and this was all divinely inspired, John can tell you, okay? How many times did we get to a brick wall, John, and then something else would come up?
About once a month. Way back then, everything be going fine. All of a sudden, we hit a brick wall, wouldn't know which way to go and anything else. And then all of a sudden, there it was right in front of us.
Right.
Just don't know where it came from.
Coming out of nowhere, man. I mean, falling into our lap. And it happened all the time, basically all the time. Oh, and through that time, how many times were we told we were being investigated?
Every time somebody talked to us.
Well, they're being investigated and all that stuff, and for fraud and all this kind of shit. Man, we'd hear that all the time. Heard it forever.
I'm glad they did investigation, if they did.
Yeah.
Because they never found us doing anything wrong in their investigations.
No law was broken. No fraud was committed. Nothing.
Nope. They couldn't find anything wrong, so they couldn't charge us with anything.
Not that they could have if they tried, but I'm just saying because we are separate. Yeah. We are a country to that, and that's the way it works. Hold on one second. Okay, so, and by the way, at that time, okay, we finally heard after a while that the DOD had looked into us and actually just figured out where we all were and what was going on and all over the country, and noticed that none of us went out. We didn't party and do stupid things. Very conservative people and decent people. So, folks, if you ever see this kind of thing, and you know, and somebody's trying to tell you, well, they're getting investigated for fraud and everything else. Okay, those are the same people that said that the feds are crap and that they are criminals and they're all Satan worshipers and everything else. Okay, then whenever they don't get their way, or they don't think something should happen the way it should happen, or they got their ass kicked because they thought that they were right in the first place and weren't, and found to be that, they always run back to the feds. Well, they're going to put you in jail, federal prison, every single time. And my question is this: the feds protect their own, and if you're not one of their own, what makes you think that they're going to protect you when you just sit there and on every call called them all criminals and everything else? And why would they give a shit whether you had justice or not in your head? The hypocrisy is unbelievable. And the second part is there was no fraud against you. That's the whole point. The crimes that you committed, which got you removed, were horrendous crimes. Some were death offenses. Some are in jail for the rest of your life against your own country. Unbelievable amount of crime going on. You're lucky you're still breathing. And you're not in jail for the rest of your life. So what makes you think that somebody's going to come over there and try to get rid or try to give justice to a well-known criminal themselves? I mean, seriously. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. And that is why you don't have your nationality. Because you'll turn on your own country in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, you'll turn on your own country. Most of them didn't even know half of that was a test to see what you would do. And I'll be damned, man, didn't take long. Did it, John? On half of them, at least.
Didn't take long at all. But the thing of it is, Keith, and what I was saying a while ago is, I'm glad they investigate us because we break no laws. And they can't, no one in the world can bring any accusation against us through the law of nations.
That's right. Nobody can come after us for international crimes because we're not doing anything wrong.
That's right.
Okay, so even if we were a sovereign country, it wouldn't be them doing it anyways, because they would have no authority in the first place. It would be the one in heaven that would be doing it. That's who would be tearing us up, not anybody else.
Yep.
So, and tearing up the country and everything else and disbanding the country. Okay, but that hasn't happened. So the country remains strong. It's still growing, and it's growing every day. Okay, so we got to pass that. So no corporation here. If you heard that, that is a bold-faced lie. Bold-faced lie. Okay, and that's it. All right, now we'll go ahead and close this one. We'll close the declaration. You've seen the Articles of Confederation as amended. That's our Constitution, by the way. This is the Articles of Confederation as amended in 2013. And this is the final one here, which is 2015. Okay, as you can see, each one got better and better. And we still, I believe we have a copy of this without this seal. We have the one redone with the new seal. Okay. This is the one I found. Now, people were asking about a social compact, and all the lawyers, it's funny, watching their reactions to this. We kept telling them you don't have any social compacts. And this was the states, okay. So you don't have anything. Okay, and we're going to show you. You have basically nothing because you don't have a social compact. So your state was never existed and all that stuff. It's all communism and it's all crap. Okay, and then we told people that, and then we show people in the article or the Law of Nations that there was a that's where the social compact comes in place. And we show you there it is. You have to have a social compact and all that in order to create all these things. Otherwise, you don't have a country. That's just the way things are. If you don't like it, oh well. You're going to sit there and play around with your baby deed, okay? The territory of the United States northwest of the River Ohio. That'd be the United States in Congress assembled. And it goes in and goes through, and it has all these things. You can go read it if you want. We have an actual copy of it. We signed it. And basically, what you got here is this: it is hereby ordained and declared by the authority aforesaid that the following articles shall be considered as articles of compact between the original states and the people and states. Right here. Okay. Let me get this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So everybody, all you naysayers out there it is. See, it says Articles of Compact between the original states and the people and states. That's upper and lowercase s in the said territory and forever remain unalterable unless by common consent. Okay, we have an extended social compact by and between the general postmasters, and that's another. That was the bilateral social compact and peacetime social compact. We have that one, and then we have the other social compact for the American Nationals. That's an extended. This was the original, right here. Articles of Compact between the original states and the people and states. Okay. So, no person demeaning himself in a peaceably and orderly manner shall ever be molested on account of his mode of worship or religious sentiments in the said territory. There it is. Then they go, oh, that means that the United States under the Constitution has a social compact. No, it doesn't. Because this is where the United States is extremely screwed. Okay? We didn't want to bring this out too early because they are extremely screwed in this deal. The said territory and the states may be formed therein shall forever remain a part of this confederacy of the United States of America, subject to the Articles of Confederation and to such alterations therein, and shall be constitutionally made. Burn. That's a serious burn, okay? Big time burn to all the constitutionalists. Because you never had a social compact that created the Constitution of the United States. This didn't never ceded over to that one. This was done before that. And this was never ceded. CEDED. Never, nothing was ever ceded over. There's even, and go look this up, the Land Ordinance of 1775. That was never ceded to the Constitution. That's called a burn. Okay? This is where they're screwed. It says forever remain a part of this confederacy, which is now what? It's a republic and a national government. So all the people that thought that they could just toss out all kinds of false accusations about me personally and against this government and all the people that are in it and everything else and all the general postmasters and all that and the ANU, the American National Union, you're wrong. Now that's going to burn a little bit. That's going to, ouch. Okay, that's going to burn a little bit. Let it burn in real good. Okay? Because your arrogance and your ego got the best of you and made a fool out of you. Nobody else did but you. That happened to you. Okay? You did it to yourself. You have nobody to blame. Because when you're going to point your finger, there's 3 other fingers right there pointing right back at you. You're the one that did it because you didn't do the proper research and you didn't know what you were doing. This goes all the way back to 1776. And what happened is the other ones, the devil worshiping pieces of crap over there, okay, they're Satan worshipers. On the other side, they were over there making deals with the king and the prince and all that to get their arch treasurer back in there. They were still sucking butt over there. And then they went into their constitution, and we've been working in parallel ever since. But they never had the authority of any of the states. Nothing. So they had to create states within states, which is lowercase s states. They had to change that, which became a state within a state, which became illegal. So your federated states of states, illegal. It's all illegal. Now, that might be a source of pain for you. That's fine. You deserve it. Because you've been trying to hurt the government of the United States of America. You've been attacking your own country for years, and you deserve to be have a little pain inside. Okay, that's called what comes around goes around. Okay, but you can read that again. There forever remain a part of this confederacy of the United States of America. Remember, that was the style of this confederacy right here. Subject to the Articles of Confederation and such alteration therein as shall be constitutionally made. That is called the will of the people. Okay, and all the acts and ordinances of the United States and Congress assembled, conformable thereto. Now, that particular entity right there, the United States and Congress assembled, that resides with the Committee of the National Assembly today. That's where that ended up. It's with the Committee of the National Assembly for the Government of the United States of America. The Confederacy is now the government of the United States of America, and it's a national government formed as a republic. The Union of 1774 is now the American National Union of the United States of America. It's chain of title all the way up. Now, if that gives you some sort of jealousy problems or a source of pain, I don't care, and I don't think anybody else does within the government of the United States of America. Because honestly, everybody's just trying to live their life and they're trying to grow and get their country back. And you morons that are around there throwing all these accusations out like somebody stole from you or some crap like that, that's just going to have to burn into you. You're going to have to sit there and burn if you're going to live with all that hate. And essentially, I'm kind of glad that I live rent free right in your head. Okay, so that being said, there's the social compact that was never ceded to the United States, the Constitution of the United States that was never given to them, the Land Ordinance of 1775 was never ceded to them, just like today that the original states in the territory of the original states, which is the state of Florida or state of Georgia, that's the original state. It's not a company or corporation. Anybody that keeps saying that, they're lying to you and making you stateless, makes them liable. Was never ceded to these municipalities. So these municipalities don't have any territory over here, and they're all under potpourri states, the Pope states. This is why the people back in the day didn't want the Pope over here, because they just got rid of him over there in Europe. They left and came over here, and the guy's a jackass. Okay? And even their agents are claiming that canon law is the supreme law of the world, of all countries. And it's crap. Canon law is crap. It's not that great. Okay? So the trial, by the way, did happen back Tuesday with Miss Anna, and she didn't show up. We didn't expect her to, but we're waiting for judgment right now. And that's taken a while because there were so many freaking crimes. It was unbelievable that the woman is committed. So we're waiting for that right now. If anybody's ever wondering, or if they thought, oh, it must be a fraud because they didn't tell us and all this, just because you're not told something or we don't come out with something doesn't mean it's always a fraud. So stop trying to manipulate things like you manipulate Walmart into giving your crap back, okay? Or to taking something back that you didn't want in the first place. That's what you do all the time. Walmart trained you well. Okay? So this also talks about the direction of legislatures of district or districts or new states as the original states within the time agreed upon by the United States and Congress assembled, the legislature of those districts or new states, and blah, blah, blah. This is why we had to declare the states of the Union into existence. And we have that in the newspaper. Because the proper entity did not declare them into existence. You wouldn't even have the states right now if it wasn't for the people that put all this together. All of us put it together. Not just me. I just happened to start it or happened to be there, and I happen to help. But we all put it together. So when you're attacking me, you're not just attacking me, you're attacking a bunch of people that really at this point hate your freaking guts, whoever's doing it. And basically look at you as a fool and an idiot. You just screwed yourself because you screwed your own, you just made yourself stateless. And they keep doing it. When they could have just gone over to their states and started selling their states. We wouldn't have said a word. And nothing really to do with it. Okay? So at any rate, it says shall never interfere. It says legislatures of those districts or the new states shall never interfere with the primary disposal of the soil by the United States and Congress assembled, nor with any regulations Congress may find necessary for the securing of the title in such soil to the bona fide purchasers. No tax shall be imposed on lands and the property of the United States, and in no case shall non-resident proprietors be taxed higher than residents. Okay? This is where the states it's illegal, okay, for them to tax or imposed on lands. And this is an adjective. This is an adjective right here. The United States is states united. Okay? No tax shall be imposed on lands and property of the United States. Okay, so the state legislature's taxing property? No, it's illegal as hell, by the way. But what do you expect out of a guy that thinks he's a vicar that never existed? Okay, or thinks he's the father of all people on earth. It's a freaking nut job. All right, and it says as well as inhabitants of the said territory, as to the citizens of the United States and those of other states, and may be admitted into the Confederacy without any tax imposed, duty, or therefore. Okay, so basically, these are extensions. These are all still in place. We haven't cut the United States out, the company out. We haven't done anything like that. We operate in parallel. We figure we need balance, and they actually, in some ways, help this government uh, uh, indirectly. They don't mean to do it; they're just doing it indirectly. It's just natural, I guess, the natural balance of things. Okay. So at any rate, there it is, and it was signed a long time ago. And oh, there's John Harold. He signed this. Okay. And now let's show you folks. Wasn't it stated, John, that what was that guy's name in Australia?
O'Connell?
Yeah, Franco Collins, that started the organization of the Reign of the Heavens, and that Keith plagiarized every bit of it, right?
No, he organized one heaven.
No, wait a minute. That's the accusation. The accusation is that Keith plagiarized Franco Collins' work, all of his work in the Reign of the Heavens, because Franco Collins started the organization and did all the work. Remember that?
That's what they said.
Yeah. Franco Collins started the Reign of the Heavens. That's what they're saying, that he wrote it all down and everything else. How old do you think Franco Collins is? We know he's less than 100 years old. We know that. And I think he's over 50. I'm pretty sure he's there. It's been a while, I don't think he's, he might be. I don't know. But we know that he's between 1 and 100 because we haven't heard that he's over 100 years old. Okay. The funny thing is the Reign of the Heavens is over 2,000 years old. So how did Frank O'Collins start the Reign of the Heavens or Reign of Heavens? No such thing as Reign of Heavens, by the way. But how did Frank O'Collins start that? I'd like to know where that is. Where's the proof of that? Where Frank O'Collins started Reign of the Heavens Society. And that Keith came in and plagiarized and stole all of it. Okay? Here's the Bible, folks. See, that's called the Scriptures right here. Here is Reign of the Heavens right there. Oh, let me get that bigger for the, there you go. Reign of the Heavens was written in the Bible.
That's even big enough for the nearsighted ones, Keith.
Yes, for those that have eyes up their butt. They repent, for the reign of the heavens has drawn near. See that, folks? That's over 2,000 years old. Franco Collins had nothing to do with it because I believe he's between 1 and 100 years old. He wasn't even here at the time. I didn't start the reign of the heavens. Yohanan the Immerser, the one you know as John the Baptist, was the first one to declare its existence. And Yahushua, the one everybody knows as Jesus, was the second one to proclaim it into existence. They created it. So how can it be a fraud? You just witnessed against your own Messiah that you profess to be your Messiah. You just called him a fraud when you said the reign of the heavens was a fraud. Good luck with that, by the way. Might want to get on your knees pretty quick and start repenting for falsely witnessing against the one who saved your ass from hell. Okie dokie. Good idea, right? When you say, John?
I got no objection to that one.
We've heard this freaking lie how many times for the last 2 years? At least 100 times. And if you have this crap on your website, we're waiting for this judgment to come through, folks. When it does, this is going to extend to everybody who shared this false information and everything else. And the false lies about me. All the lies about me. Nothing was true that was told to you. And you've been passing those lies. So if you have my name on it, fair warning right now. If my name is on your website, you might want to take it off the website before we get to you. Because there's going to be complaints filed and everything else once this judgment comes through and we get it published. And yes, we have all the recording, and everybody's going to be able to hear the recording of the trial. Okay? Might want to start now. By anything in my name, Keith Livingway or Keith Edward Livingway, on your websites, you might want to start removing every bit of it. Because it's going to cost you. All right?
Actually, it wouldn't hurt if anything pertaining to this government is detrimental to this government needs to be removed from their websites.
Right, unless it's true. Okay, if it's true, then that's okay. But if it's false,
that's the reason I said detrimental.
Yeah, you might want to get that off your website because we're coming after you. Okay, we're coming after you legally, and by the time we're done with you, you're probably not even going to have a website. Because I think my name went in Google. I got like 5 or 6 pages dominated of people lying about me. Lying about everything I'm doing. If I was as bad as that, I would be executed by now. If I had committed any of the crimes that I was accused of, I'd be executed by now. Exiled or thrown in the ocean or something. Because every time you get caught doing something, what do? You go to God, and all of a sudden, God's going to curse you. He's going to come after you and throw you in hell. Every time you get caught doing something you shouldn't have been doing.
Actually, Keith, they can't come after you anyway.
I know, but how's that?
And they can't come after me either. Because I can write anything I want to, but it has to be approved by the assembly before it can be done anything with.
I know.
So how can they attack just one person within this entire government?
I have no idea. They like to try to traffic me outside of it and then try to isolate me, which is what punks do and little cowards do. They do that. They don't want to face the whole government.
They want to single you out and take you down one at a time.
Yeah, and that's what little cowards do.
Exactly.
Little punks, little street punks, they try to do that. Street punks try to get you alone in the back alley where nobody's seeing what they're doing. That's what street punks do, and that's what they do on the internet. They try to single me out and move me over and everything and start attacking me personally. Okay? If you've got anything on there that I was in some kind of an auction, you better take that off your website. Okay? Because we're going to start looking around, or at least I am. I'm going to take about a week and start looking around and start marking off all these freaking websites and everything else, and we're going to start making complaints along with the human rights violations that are going to be published. Complaints on to your service provider, to your registrar and everything else that you're out there causing all kinds of crap. Because I'm telling you right now, if I get shot or murdered because some cop sees all that stuff and thinks, oh, this is a bad dude, and gets me killed, my blood is on your shoulders. You're a murderer along with him, because you're writing crap that's not true. None of it's true. If it was true, I'd be all right with it. I don't care. But if it's not true, better get that shit off your website. I'm just waiting for this judgment to come through. And it's $750,000 per account on your website. That's what it is. And if you think that I can't lean your website up, you got another thing coming. I'm going to take your website. And the government is going to get it. I'm just going to hand it to them. Okay? So that probably would be the best thing. Now you've seen the history of it. You've seen what we did. Anybody wants to put in there that there's two separate the United States of America, which is a total freaking lie, by the way. There was only one, just so they can try to steal it and speak for it and all this other kind of crap. That's a complete lie. You're going to owe a lot of money by the time it's done, and that's going to the Vatican, by the way. The Vatican's going to get a part of that lien, because we know that you don't have the pockets, and we know they have the deep pockets, and we know that they're the ones that are not governing you correctly, because you're actually in another country, and you shouldn't be there doing what you're doing. So when their churches and stuff like that start getting leaned up, then they're going to start getting attention. Go, holy crap, we got to stop this crap right now. They'll probably get a hold of us to find out how to stop it and go to peace. When their churches start getting leaned up and all their property in international liens. Until we get this crap under control and it completely stops. All the lies and all the crap going on. Okay? You all will be held accountable. The ones that are doing it and the ones that are causing it, you are being held accountable. Let's put it that way. Not will be, you are being held accountable. We're just waiting for the court to do its thing. Should be sometime next week. So you've had fair warning. Better start repenting now by removing whatever the hell you can remove. Stop claiming that you're a part of the United States of America if you're not. If you haven't had any kind of resident declaration, if we don't acknowledge you, you're not a part of it. If you haven't taken oath and affirmation to this country, okay, through this government, through our courts, you are not recognized as an American national, and you are lying. And if a court ever contacts us and asking us, hey, did they do this? We will definitely tell them, no. We are not going to cover your ass. We're not in the habit of lying to them. Anything else we need to cover, John?
No, sir. I think that pretty much covers everything, Keith.
All right. So we've proven who we are. Any other documents and stuff you can find on the National Great Registry. The way to get there is to go to generalpostoffice.international, spelled out, and hit National Great Registry. We have documents everywhere, all over the place. Yes, it was never a corporation. And yes, it was the original country. And it may be a source of pain that we got there first, but nobody really cares what your pain is. Okay? You may be jealous, might be hurting your ego a little bit. Well, you're just going to have to get rid of that. Okay? You're going to have to get over that. Grow up a little bit. It may be a source of pain, and then and if you think that you've ever had a republic under the 1789 Constitution, never was there. It was always a fascist government. In other words, it was always a fascist organization. It was a corporation claiming to be government, and always has been, always will be. And they're constantly causing havoc and BS and stupid crap, and they're constantly murdering people, and they don't mind killing over 60 million children, and they've got all this other kind of stuff and drugs and all this other kind of crap that they're doing. Okay? And they don't mind openly saying that they're Satan worshipers and they killed the babies and all that. Which their crimes are so high, it's going to be very difficult to even deal with that. And I believe it needs to go through Yahushua, also known as Jesus. And I believe that that needs to go to the Most High Himself, and that gets dealt with, that whole issue. So at any rate, there we go. So thanks for listening, folks. You might have um, detected a little bit of irritation in my voice when I'm dealing with this, but when people are sitting there and trying to bury you in nothing but lies and deceit, tends to get a little on your nerves after about 6 years of it. So I don't know how Trump is going to have to deal with that, but I've been dealing with it for a little bit longer. Okay, it has hurt business and things like that, but now it's going to get turned around, and we're going to go forward with vindication. So thanks for listening to the 147th broadcast of the T Row Show. We will see you next week.